On this episode of BTV, we talk about the use of Zell in picking classes, a new graduation requirement for next year's freshmen, and we wrap up winter sports. All of this and more on this episode of BTV. Welcome back to this episode of BTV. I'm your anchor, Julia Harvey.
And I'm your co-anchor, Brianna Tran.
Last month, students completed their course planners in preparation for next year on Zell. Reporter Terry Tran tells us about how this process is better than what we've used in the past.
For 3 years, Zell has been used to plan courses for students. Many have found it to be more efficient than the way scheduling was done in the past.
Before, we would just have a paper copy, and then students would fill it out by hand, and then we would have to go enter in each number for each semester for that class for each student. So this helps a lot in a lot of ways. It's a lot faster, and I think it helps students see what kind of choices there are.
Honestly, there's a very, very good amount of classes you can choose.
Zell is useful for students to see the classes that are needed to graduate.
I think the biggest benefit is to the student. They can go in and look and see what kind of classes they have, and the requirements for graduation are there, so they can see, am I on track? What classes do I need to do to make up? I think it gives a lot more information to students, and it puts it in a place where they can go home and look at it with their family, try to decide on classes they think would be important to take.
I like Zell because it makes it easier to plan stuff out and less, helps track and stuff.
Although it may be tedious, there's a reason why it's required to be done by students.
When a student asks for a class, it creates space for us to put them into it. If we don't have that space because the students didn't ask for it, then we're stuck with now we don't have options. Because not only is that option not available, but now they've got to be put into a different option that is available. They may not like it. This is why we want students to pick their classes so they're happy with their choices.
Those who have completed their Zell should be able to see their classes before the end of this school year. For BTV, I'm Terry Tran.
Thanks, Terry. Make sure to complete future course planners on Zell early next year to make sure you get your desired classes.
Speaking of courses, new requirements to graduate are soon to be implemented. Reporter Brody Shaw gives us more information.
Graduation requirements in the state of Kansas are going to be changing for the class of 2028 and beyond.
So there will be another STEM requirement. STEM is science, technology, engineering, math. So it could be an extra science class, it could be an extra math class, or it could be an application career class. For example, introduction to engineering if you went to aviation, aerospace engineering class.
The skills learned in these classes could make it easier to get a career.
Speech and communication is an important skill because there's no job that you can do in the 21st century that doesn't require some degree of communication, whether it's virtual or in person, and so teaching this skill helps students prepare themselves for the workforce in a more efficient manner.
Well, I think for so long we've told you guys that you need college to be successful, and we've let the hands-on jobs go to the side. I mean, and if you look at job demographics, look at how many people have degrees and are doing minimum wage jobs because they can't get hired. And look at all the jobs that require hands-on skill that aren't being filled.
Teachers that we interviewed said they're concerned it could make it harder to find kids that are interested in their classes.
What I'm hoping is that I don't have a whole lot of people taking my class just to get that requirement out of the way, because I have to recruit newspaper and yearbook and BTV students from those intro classes, and so if they just stick a bunch of people in there who are hoping to be able to graduate to use that as a credit, then that will hurt. It will have a negative impact on our newspaper and yearbook program.
Next year's freshman class will be the first ones to meet these requirements. For BTV, Brody Shaw.
Thanks, Brody. If you have any questions, ask your counselor for more information.
On this segment of Have You Heard, Eden asked you buffs to give him some inspirational quotes.
Give me an inspirational quote.
Give you an inspirational quote by myself or from someone else?
Anything.
He who is not busy being born is busy dying.
Sometimes you need a chicken sandwich to get a pie in life. We are about to talk to one of the greatest philosophical, diabolical minds of our time.
The president of the South.
Cecil.
The president of Southeast himself.
Give me an inspirational quote.
Inspirational quote of the day. What's the day? February 29th. It's 3:02. The words of life today will be inspiration. Inspiring someone into doing something. Inspiration.
Give us an inspirational quote.
If you aim first, you're last. Ricky Bobby.
To make someone want to go do something. Motivation. To make someone feel good. Inspiration is what we need at Southeast. Inspiration. More inspiration will bring more respiration.
God. If you don't answer, you get expelled.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Don't give up. Yeah. That's it.
More respiration, more dedication. How many times do I gotta say it? Inspiration is the number one step, the number one rule to getting to somewhere you wanna go. Without inspiration, what do you got? Nothing. Inspire people.
Jazz Band had their concert on February 29th. Fifth hour played Mellow Tone and Misty, and eighth hour played Leapfrog, Make Swing Your Thing, Cerulean Blue, and The Mooch.
Congrats to Lucas Christner and Armando Rodriguez Quintana for making KMEA All-State Choir. And also congrats to Ryan Newby and Alexander Ong for making KMEA All-State Orchestra. They performed at Century 2 on February 24th.
Lucas and Armando also both earned a $20,000 scholarship to Friends University. At the Sing It Music Festival at Friends, Lucas placed first and Armando placed third. Congrats, guys.
I plan on going there, so it's good, I guess. I could really use it, that money, and it'll help me pay most of the stuff for that college, and hopefully I get more for there.
Jonah, 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 in the belly of a whale. Jonah, 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 in the belly of a whale.
Choir had their most recent concert on March 4th. Some of the songs that were sung by Trouble One Chorus, Tenor Bass Chorus, Harmonia Dorate, Madrigals, and Concert Choir were The Poet Sings, Weep No More, After the Rain, and Ride on King Jesus.
An orchestra had their concert on March 5th. Concert Orchestra played Forever Joyful and Gauntlet. Symphonic Orchestra played Psalm and Sansonon. The Chamber Orchestra played Warrior Legacy. They will be performing at the Acacia Regional Solo Ensemble Festival at Heights on April 6th.
The New African Descent Tutelage Club held their first fundraiser on February 29th. They sold Buffalo Wild Wings, bone-in, and boneless wings with a variety of flavors.
The annual Multicultural Fair was held on March 1st. At lunch, food booths were from Halo, JAG, ACC, and MCC, and informational booths were from clubs from Southeast, Wichita State, and Newman. Then, there was a variety of performances including the Lion Dance, Vietnamese Fan Dance, Irish Dance, and more.
There's a new donkey here at Southeast now. His name is Jerry, and he is 15 years old. He's here on a permanent loan, so we can keep him for as long as we'd like. Now on to William Sandlin with the sports.
Welcome back to the Sportscast. I'm your sports anchor, William Sandlin. Let's get straight on into the highlights. In the first round of Sub-State on February 28th, boys basketball hosted Washburn Rural, and they fought hard but unfortunately lost 59-42. With only one senior this year, the team is young and will be back next year. On February 27th, girls basketball beat Garden City 51-46 in the first round of Sub-State. Alana Webb had 22 points and Micaiah Jones had 18. Then at the Sub-State championship game, they went up against Heights, but unfortunately lost 43-25. Congrats on a good season, Lady Buffs. State bowling on February 29th at North Rock, Alyssa Brantley bowled a 5.15, placing her in 44th. Out of all the bowlers from Wichita, she was 4th. Congrats, Alyssa. Also, math teacher John Stockdale's daughter, Kaylee, who bowls for Northwest, took first place in 6A. Archery headed to Pratt, Kansas for a tournament on March 2nd. They took 2nd overall, which qualified them for state. The state tournament will be held in Hutchinson on March 29th. That's it for the Sportscast. The next Sportscast will have the spring sports highlights. For now, back to you, Julia and Brianna.
Thanks, William. That's all for this episode of BTV.
We'll leave you with the sights and sounds from the Spring Sports Assembly.